Welcome to another edition of City Talk on City Channel Pittsburgh. I'm John McIntire. This is where we meet people who work for the city, find out what they do and why they do it. Matt Singer is with us. He's the Legislative Director for Councilman Corey O'Connor's office. Welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
Legislative Director, what does that mean?
Well, I get to oversee a lot of the research and development of our special projects, our policy initiatives, so that can be everything from scouring the city code and finding the right place for things to go, to helping it get across the finish line in terms of reaching out to other council members, other staff, and walking them through it, and then making sure that once all that's said and done, the thing that we want to come to fruition or accomplish actually happens.
Does that make you the chief policy wonk, the brains of the operation?
Might be a little bit generous.
We know the councilman has a brain. He's a smart guy.
Yeah. So a lot of
But you know, the deep dive, get into the
a lot of the really kind of like arcane stuff that's a little bit less boring. Well, we have other people on the team, the councilman included, who really give it a voice and make sure that people can understand what we're doing and seeing why it can help them and have a really positive impact. I do a lot of the back end work to make sure that what we say and what we want to happen is being done in a way that it's not going to cause problems, or it'll run smoothly and really get the job done.
So might somebody have an idea like, I have an idea, let's make the streets even cleaner.
Yeah.
You, get on that, see if that's possible?
Yeah, and it's really fun. It might sound a little bit boring, but it's kind of like when you buy a puzzle and you see what it looks like on the box, but then you have a bunch of little pieces, and so you have your idea of where you want to be at the end of the day, and I really enjoy that process of all the steps in between to kind of take us from the idea phase to the final phase.
Do the council staffs get along pretty well?
Yeah,
There are no big rivalries where you're meeting in the alley after the...
I think that might be a bit more interesting if we were all kind of snapping as we walk into formation. But no, I think you have a lot of people who both have been here for a while, and even the newer folks, I think that everyone gets along very well. I think that obviously, given the nature of politics and voting and things like that, you might imagine that there are times where people might butt heads a little bit, but even when that happens, it's very temporary, and everyone knows that it's not personal. At the end of the day, everyone is here because they like what they do. They really want to help people. They like the fact they get to work for the city. So even if anyone gets frustrated with each other or has any disagreements, no one ever carries around grudges like that for more than a day or two.
How did you get this job? How do you become a legislative director?
So I was a legislative aide in our office. I've been there for about 3.5 years. I had a bit of experience just in undergrad and internships in previous jobs doing a lot of policy research, but really in a way where I was kind of sitting in a cubicle and just writing reports and white papers all day. So
that was kind of boring compared to what you do now.
Yeah, very much so. So when this opportunity came up, I interviewed for it, and I was really exciting. And a lot of what I had focused on previously was more so on the state level or more so on a programmatic level. So it was really exciting to have the opportunity where I live here, I'm going to live here in the future. I'm going to meet people, whether it's constituents or people from local community groups, who the things that we do, you actually know these people, and there's a face to your efforts, and that's really encouraging and exciting.
Is there a policy you've been a part of that you're the proudest of?
Yeah, so recently, actually maybe back in the summer, we worked with the city controller's office to create an ordinance where the goal is essentially have a centralized location for all of the information that elected officials, so all members of city council, the city controller, and the mayor, all the disclosures that they have to fill out. Every year, there's a whole bunch of requirements that both the city imposes and the state imposes on elected officials. That's everything from their outside income to any sort of boards that they sit on, what kind of money is sitting in their PAC, where that money is coming from. A lot of that information is publicly accessible, but just because something is publicly accessible doesn't mean that it's easily accessible.
Find it,
yeah, so we wanted to make a centralized hub where someone could find all of that. You shouldn't have to be computer savvy or web savvy or policy savvy to be able to find out if your elected official could have any conflict of interest on any policy that they're voting on. So that's still in the process of getting all pulled together and creating this online hub, but it was codified, and it was an ordinance that's part of the city code. And it's great that something like that is part of the city code, because 10 years from now, if none of us are here, if we all are in different offices or different jobs, or if we move away, that's something that's still there. And as
And when the new corrupt people get in, somebody can catch them.
Yeah, and that's the thing. It's everyone around now is a good actor, and we don't have to worry about stuff like that. But you aren't only planning for today; you're planning for things being in good shape when you're not there or in the future. So that's something that I'm really proud of, because people should be able to find that information really easily.
Everybody knows the legacy of Councilman O'Connor's dad, Bob O'Connor, the mayor for a short time before the tragic death. Corey, who I've known a little bit for years, seems like such an easygoing guy. Is he like a secret slave driver when nobody's looking, cracking the whip?
No, not at all. He's an incredibly fun boss, and I mean, his heart, he definitely cares so much about the residents in the way where it can be 11 something at night and he'll call us and he'll be like, hey, I just thought of this one issue in the community. What do you think of this? And sometimes you have to be like, hey, let's wait till 9 a.m. tomorrow before we kind of hop back into things. But I think just given that he knew politics and staffs and everything like that growing up, and he was a staffer himself for Congressman Doyle before he was elected to his office. So I think that he really knows that if you have a job like this, you're not doing it to get a huge paycheck or anything like that. You're doing it because you want to and you like to, and it's fun and exciting to you, and you like the fact that you get to be involved in public service. So I think being able to build his team around that, we have 4 people in our office, and we have interns, and we have fellows that come in and out, but just knowing that everyone is there because they want to be, and knowing that he can have a team that want to grow on certain projects that they want, he really appreciates that. And we're all there to help people and get a job done, but it's also an opportunity for all of us to really grow and excel at what we're doing while we're there.
The other day I was at a 5K race making some announcements before they left, and then I was supposed to introduce Councilman O'Connor to say a few words. He's like, just scratch that. I don't want to say a few words. Nobody cares what I have to say. They just want to start the race. And I thought, a politician refusing an opportunity to speak publicly, that's a miracle.
Yeah.
So he's sort of uncharacteristically humble.
Yeah, it's nice and it's refreshing to not kind of always want to stand on formality or anything like that. And I think a lot of people know him and they know his family. He's not some big upstart guy who just like blew into town or anything like that. So. And at the end of the day, if you're like getting ready to run the Greenfield Glide, you want to focus on that 5K. You don't want to focus on someone in a tie telling you how like beautiful the day is for everyone to come out.
He also didn't want to fire the starter pistol, but maybe that's good.
Yeah.
Maybe you don't want a boss who's really good with guns.
Yeah, I don't know how good his aim is, so fingers crossed he keeps it up.
So government is a lot more interesting and rewarding than some people might think.
Yeah, our city workforce is huge, and I think that people don't always realize just how many people are working in the system to make sure that everything is operating smoothly. When you call the departments of permits, license, and inspections to ask a question, there's someone there waiting to answer it, and if they don't know, they can run that up the flagpole to someone else. And you can picture smaller processes like that just replicated a million times over in every single department. So people who are going out and doing the work on our streets and our infrastructure, it's not just the people that you see doing that incredibly hard job. They have support staff. They have people in their offices behind them. So knowing that all of this miraculous stuff gets done because there are so many people involved, I feel like people might not necessarily always realize that there are these really big teams behind all these projects making sure that it happens, making sure that you can drive on your road to get to work, making sure that if there's a landslide, someone's going to be there to not only be able to clean it up and fix it up and everything, but they're all getting their paycheck on time. They all have the right equipment. So just knowing that even in the micro sense where you're part of your own council office staff, in my case, but also in the more macro sense that you're surrounded by people in this greater city workforce all working toward a common goal of having so everyone can be able to go about and live their lives in Pittsburgh and it be a happy, healthy, enjoyable place to be.
Matt Singer, Legislative Director and Government Enthusiast. Thanks so much for doing the program.
Thank you for having me.
That's City Talk. We'll see you next time.